Hello everybody, welcome back to Memory Gamma. Today we're going to be answering another community request. In my video on the Enterprise E, I used Admiral Matthew Dougherty. Now, some people who are older players and have been playing the game for a long time, or simply have the wave of the ship that it comes with, the Sovereign class original, will know Admiral Dougherty and will know that he's not exactly what you'd call the most powerful. He's not exactly, he's not a brilliant character in the film. I mean, causes an amazing scene. Him and Picard. If you haven't seen it, go watch Insurrection. That scene is worth the movie. As is the rest of the movie, but I would say that as a Star Trek fan. However, in game, his ability was a bit lackluster when it first came out, and is definitely not what everyone would call a good ability. However, in all the Federation Admirals, of which there will be a ranking list eventually when I get to them, I rate him quite highly, in the top half, maybe even top 5. It changes each time we do an event, and each time I relook at all the cards and look at new combinations. As anyone who knows me and knows my work on the Fremont knows that I build somewhere in the region of maybe 10 to 15 fleets a day, just for my own personal fun. Trying out new combinations, trying out different abilities, trying out cards I've never done before. So I spend an hour or so a day where I can on fleet building, just experimenting, to try and make sure that I'm in the best position, A, to sort of make these videos and be able to speak from something of a position of knowledge, but also I find it quite fun. I get as much fun out of building the fleet and crafting it as I do as playing. Might be why I don't win very much, given the fact that I enjoy building the fleet so much that I'm getting a bit carried away sometimes. But we're digressing. So we're going to build a Matthew Dougherty ship. Now, the only thing I'm going to lick myself to is, I mentioned last time, but the Enterprise E is a flip card. So the Enterprise E has the two different sides, the green maneuver and the torpedo ability. We're going to take the flip side of the Enterprise E. So in the power strain step, if you did a green maneuver, you get an evade token and you roll +1 defenses every time you defend. So we're going to use Dougherty on the Enterprise E, and we're going to build him out. So the first thing we're going to do is pop him here. Now, 4 points, 4 skill, 3 points for a captain, and no talent slot. You might go, that's a bit naff. However, the action: disable 1 upgrade to perform this action, and every time you defend this round, you roll +1 defense dice. That's not a once per round, that is an every time you defend. So he's very good at he's a bonus defense dice against every attack you make. If someone's got multiple attacks against you, or if you're getting shot by multiple ships, he's really nice. And it's only a disable. It's an action to disable an upgrade to perform the action. Now, that upgrade doesn't have to be something you're going to be using. It can be something that you've already got time tokens on, because you can disable the card while it has time tokens on. You have to remove both of them eventually, but it could be something that's already out of commission. You can't have more than 1 disabled token on an upgrade, so you can't disable an already disabled upgrade. But it's, there's good you can do with that. Now, there is also, now this is going to be a very defensive kind of ship. So the point there, you go, okay, so what would you do? So what would you do with Dougherty to make him better, to make him more, to make that ability in that ship more sort of potent? Now, one of the things you can do is you can put Tuesday on here. So add a talent slot to the you get to add a talent slot effectively due to the fact that you can put Tuesday. Won't be installed till Tuesday. It requires a talent, doesn't require a talent slot, but of course Utopia does require it. And that means you're saving a bunch of points. He's a low enough skill captain that it works. You could totally do that. You don't have to use Enterprise E. You could put him on the USS Galaxy and he becomes a skill 8 captain for 3 points because of the Galaxy's named ability. That's not bad at all. Again, certainly not bad. But we're going to stick with Enterprise E because that's the ship I was using at the time. So, where do we go from here? Well, one of the first things we're going to do, I think, we're going to do about a Riker. So this Riker adds a crew upgrade to the upgrade bar, replaces himself, and as a free action, you can do your captain as a free action. So now you can disable Riker and do Dougherty for free. But now, of course, you need crew upgrades and also something that brings upgrades back. So, something you could use would be Bashir. So at the start of the activation phase, you can remove a disable token from a crew upgrade, which can be, you know, on your own ship. So he can re-enable Riker, Riker can do Dougherty. So that allows you to do Dougherty every single round as a free action. So you've still got your normal action. Then we're looking at something that you might want to, you know, we're looking for a disableable upgrade. Either looks to be something that once you've built with it, it doesn't do anything, or something that you're going to use once and then chuck away, or something that you just don't mind re-enabling every single time. So, could be a low-level crew upgrade, could be a tech upgrade. Now, if it's a tech upgrade, there's a version of Harry that every time you get a scan token, you get to remove a disable token from a crew or tech upgrade. So, with that, you don't need Julian Bashir. You could, for example, you disable Riker as a free action, do Dougherty. Dougherty disables, say, a tech upgrade to get you your bonus defense dice. And then, if you have your crew as a science officer, you place two scan tokens next to your ship. At which point, that enables you to re-enable Riker with one of them, and the tech upgrade with the other one. There we go. And that gives you a perfect combination. And that tech upgrade can be something for the combat phase that only matters while it's activated. And so since you're disabling it with Dougherty and then immediately re-enabling it in the same activation, fundamentally, you never have to worry about it being off. So you don't want it to be a shielding upgrade, because if you disable the shielding upgrades, you lose those maximum shields. So, I mean, you could put refractive shields, adaptive shields, anything like that onto this ship and make it more defensive. But then if you disable Dougherty, if you disable the tech upgrade with Dougherty, sorry, when you disable the tech card, disabling makes it have no text. So the stat bonuses vanish. And when you re-enable it, the stat bonuses come back. But, you know, if you've got, say, 6 shields with refractive shielding, 5 base plus 1 for the refractive shielding, you disable it. Your maximum is now 5, so you have to discard one of your shield tokens. When you re-enable the refractive shielding, your maximum is now 6, but you have 5 shields. It doesn't grant you a brand new shield to make you up to that number. So you have to find a way to repair that. So maybe not. So that's not always what you want to be doing. But you could have a look at relatively cheap or inexpensive, should we say at least. I mean, you could do Astrometrics Lab. I mean, it's a scan action rather than placing a scan token, so it wouldn't work in this case. Impulse upgrade, but the time, because impulse upgrade would be nice. It's a 1-point tech. It gives you the 2 bank maneuvers as green, and you only ever need that when you're in the movement, but you always move before you act. So you would do your movement. Oh look, I picked up a green 2. That's a green maneuver. That triggers the Enterprise E special ability, but to evade token bonus defense dice. Then disable William Riker. Do Dougherty. Dougherty disables impulse upgrade, giving you another +1 defense dice this round, meaning you're now rolling +2 defenses every time you defend. Then you go action science officer, 2 scan tokens, and Harry Kim re-enables the impulse upgrade and William Riker. And that there, you never have to worry about it. Oh, what happens if it's disabled when I use it? No, because you'll always do your move and then act. That's the way it works. So that's a really nice thing to do. You could definitely do that. You could, again, it could be or improved hull plating, something defensive that isn't reliant on itself being disabled or on shielding. So something that enables you to bring stuff back. So other options, what have we got? So micro power relays, a bit of a waste, and it's 3 points and it's an action of itself. You don't want to do any of these because they'll take your shields off. Detection grid could be useful because it's an ability that you're going to be able to use to give your friends a bonus, and of course it only matters in the combat phase, and you've re-enabled it by the end of your activation. You could do close range scan, but that requires you to perform the scan action, which again we can't do here. What else have we got? Transwarp drive, don't need it. Could do advanced shields is possible, but again I wouldn't worry about it because it adds 2 to your shield value, but you'd have to then you'd lose those shields when you disable it. So not the exo comp, although the exo comp could be useful because it'll have time tokens on it and you'll be removing the disable token from it with Harry Kim anyway. So, and because it's already been activated by the time of that things, the exo comp might be a better one because it allows you to do hull repair, and you'll never stop from doing the hull repair with it being disabled because Harry Kim will re-enable it the same time it's disabled fundamentally. That gives you some nice hull repair. Now, construction upgrade. Let's throw a Dominion retrofit on here. Bonus shield, bonus slot, never a bad thing. Weaponry. Now, because this is not, we're not going for the torpedo boat special, throw a dorsal phaser array on here. Yes, it's 6 points, but it gives you 5 dice 360 at range 1 to 2. And with double scan, 5 dice with double scan is nothing not to be sniffed at. Though you are going to want something to be able to, you know, bring back, you know, give you some quality. If you're going to be able to, if you want to be able to fire. If you don't want to be able to fire, then this thing here, as I said, throw refractive shielding on. Now you're rolling 2 defense dice, 3 from the ability, 4 from Dougherty. So now you're rolling 4 defense dice all the time. You've got double scans for firing when you need it. You ignore theirs. You don't. They don't need. They need scan tokens. Sorry, they require scan tokens to actually do serious damage to you because of the modified attack dice that they miss. And you've still got a weapon. And that weapon you could use for a systems upgrade, swap it out for a tech slot, give you that 8th shield, cap you at the rule of 3, and then throw something else on here. Multi-adaptive, multi-phasic, anything like that. But other thing we could do is you could go for, you could go for a free action of, say, Tal Celeste, giving you free scan. Again, we've already got 2 scan tokens, but it gives you more. You could go, basically you're looking for free action stuff because you don't want anything that takes up your normal action because you're going to want to do Dougherty and then Science Officer. O'Brien gets you to bring the transporter room without an upgrade slot. Not bad, and the transporter room allows you to either trade crew between your ships or harvest one of their crew if their ship gets destroyed. The Voyager CMO is just as a free action discard for a bonus action and 1 point of damage. Chulak gives you 3 more scan tokens, not that you really need more scan tokens. Could do 7. Marla Gilmore is interesting. Add a tech slot, and you get to discard a tech upgrade and get a green maneuver and an evade token. Now she works best with, you know, things that steal tech, because obviously you want to be able to make sure you're not discarding all your own tech just to move a bit faster. Kira could be nice, you know, it's a gank ship, you're going to be running around the place. But if you want to be more defensive, you'd be looking for... You could do Kirk or Spock. Now, Kirk or Spock would both allow you to... And actually, if we were to bring, say, Kirk, give you +2 captain skill, which is nice when you want it, and a free battle stations action. He gives you a talent slot. Now, in that talent slot, we're going to add 2 talent slots, because then we can... This is the way that we do this. We do put it won't be installed till Tuesday, and then we can simply take these off and go Tuesday tech exacomp. Haha. And then we can put Tuesday tech on the, not the science officer, unless you're going to also put Esri in there as well. You could put Esri in there as well, at which point then you'd place only 2 time tokens on it, and you could use re-enable it slightly faster. So actually, yes, if we go Tuesday crew and then put Kim on there, because again, Kim's not going to be needed to bring everything back until the combo starts going, so it's not going to be turn 1. And then, yeah, I mean, if we want to do it that way, so yeah, Tuesday you put 3 time tokens on each upgrade during the gather forces step. Gathering it all together, we can put Esri on, so we'll just see, this is building up in my mind as we go. Esri and then science officer, and then you only have to put 2 time tokens on Harry Kim, so he's back turn 3, which is when you're probably going to want the most amount of it. That's also when you can use Kirk. Kirk only gets 2 time tokens, so you can use him every other round thanks to Esri. And he's got his own talent slot. Now, his own talent slot you could use for to boldly go, which gives you mission tokens equal to the amount of unique cards equipped to the ship. So that's Dougherty. Now, it is only unique. James Kirk is unique. He's mirror unique, but he is unique. So he would still, I should think, give you the bonus point for that. So you'll get 1 for Dougherty, 1 for, it won't be installed till Tuesday, 1 for Riker, 1 for Esri, 1 for Harry Kim. So that's 5, 6 with Kirk. And whenever you remove an Orcs power token, you get a token. Could be nice. You could go explore strange new worlds. For an action, you get to bonus and add. So you've got to say that strange new worlds. Boldly go. You've got an option of. You could do Red Squad, which would give you 4 more. You could do Red Squad, giving you a number of battle station evade and scan tokens equal to the number of Federation crew upgrades. So Kirk, Riker, Esri, Harry, maximum 4. You get the science officer as well, but you max of 4. At which point you can remove the token and put it beside your ship before acting as another token. So Red Squad gives you 4 more uses of the action bar tokens, as well as Kirk giving you a free battle stations action. You're picking up 2 scan tokens, so you're going to have 2 scan, a battle stations, and an evade token from the Enterprise E, maybe another evade token from Red Squad. So Red Squad could definitely work. Other ones, if you're looking at ones just for this as a lone ship, as it were, I mean, diplomacy is never a bad shout. It kills all their tokens and all of your tokens, and it means neither one of you can attack or be attacked this round. So it's just the ultimate of nope, which goes a little bit against Dougherty's whole point of making you be able to survive the attack rather than just avoiding it. But it's a possibility. Diplomacy is always worth bringing, because also it just removes all tokens from beside you and them. That gets rid of cloak tokens. It gets rid of battle stations evades, scans, target locks, permanent effect tokens. It gets rid of reputation and bounty tokens. It's just all tokens, apart from obviously your shields, because they're not beside your ship. But all other tokens, apart from the Orcs power tokens, are gone. So it just completely clears them out. Sacrifice is interesting. You get to disable this and your captain, so disable Dougherty when you attack or defend, and you get to pick 2 dice results. So again, possibility. Sacrifice works nicely if you've got a way of re-enabling your captain every single round, because that's a discard, so you have to discard that and disable your captain, so you really want to bring your captain back quickly. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. Improvise is always nice. I said Red Squad we've gone for. Dispersal Pantiera only works for the torpedoes. Battle Hardened could be good for Kirk. We get his battle stations token twice. One for each defense, or one for a defense, one for an attack. Anything like that. Computer Analysis is at the planning phase. Discard to remove all disabled tokens from all other upgrades. So that's nice. Everything's been disabled and you're able to just bring everything back in one go. Possible. Needs of the many for some shield repair. Riker Maneuver is Riker Maneuver is nice. It's a very defensive one. Removes. Basically it's a one-shot Voric. Removes their target locks and battle stations tokens, and it gives them an Orcs power token and you an Orcs power token. So it's a talent Voric, but instead of giving you a scan as a response, it gives them both. It gives you and him an Orcs. So different. I wouldn't say better, but different. Shakedown Cruise Commander gives you more maneuverability, which is nice because you could reveal a 4 or a 5 maneuver and change it to a 4 bank and then spin the ship 90 degrees. That's not a bad one because you get quite fast maneuvers, but you're limited in your turns. These are the voyages. When you do fast maneuvers, you could do crew actions as free actions. But okay, we're going through them all. So I think we'll go with Red Squad. We've got Tuesday and we've got Red Squad. So Tuesday gives you a few points of discount. And you can always disable Tuesday if you really wanted to. If you don't want to disable the exocomp for whatever reason, you can disable Tuesday because once you started the game, it becomes a dead card. Weaponry. Now you've got 1 weapon slot left. This is where we could boost the shields up with a what do you call it? We could go for a systems upgrade. Boost the shields up and then give this thing multi-adaptive shields. Multi-adaptive shields would give it an additional defense dice, cap it out to its 8 shield max. It would mean we're also rolling 1 base, 1 for the ship ability, 1 for Dougherty, 1 for multi-adaptive. It gives us 4 shields. It gives us 4 defense dice we're rolling. We don't care about their minefield. We don't care about their minefields. We don't care about their scan tokens. We've got battle stations quality if we need it from Kirk for 1 attack. We're going to have an evade token from this. We're going to have maybe a second evade token from Red Squad. We've got 2 scan actions that we can use. We've got 2 scan tokens that we can use to we can discard them to convert their battle stations downs to hits if that helps us. So we've got a lot of stuff here. Now, what this boils down to is Dougherty. He's a good captain. He's a good admiral. His action is useful. When it first came out, I will admit it was a bit lackluster. However, as the game's gone on and we've got more and more ways of being able to easily re-enable upgrades, Julian Bashir, Harry Kim, all those sort of things, that are just, oh, every time this happens, remove a disabled token. McCoy does the same, you know. Since we've gained more ways to be able to re-enable things quickly, Dougherty becomes less of a, oh, it's so many actions, to more a case of the, okay, can I make it so I don't have to worry about having another action? Certainly. Riker. Or use Admiral Dougherty as your Admiral and bring... You could bring Skill 9 Original Picard for a free action bar action of anything you like, plus Dougherty as the actual action you do every turn. So that works out like this. Obviously in this build, so as I said, we've got Dougherty, Doom Retrofit, we've got James Kirk bringing us Red Squad. Dougherty has got, it won't be installed till Tuesday for a few points of a discount. Which of course we can always then throw the dorsal phaser array, or even, we can throw the dorsal phaser array in with time tokens to make us even 2 points even more cheap and make this a 70-point ship if you really wanted to. Systems upgrade bringing multi-adaptives, William Riker bringing Esri, bringing a science officer, and then Harry Kim. So the thing would be, you do your maneuver, say it's a green maneuver, you get an evade token and you roll bonus defense dice this round every time you defend. You then disable Riker, do Dougherty. Dougherty disables the exocomp, and you're now rolling a 4th defense dice every time you defend this round. Then your normal action is to go Science Officer, puts 2 scan tokens by the ship. Each of those scan tokens re-enables a crew or tech. So one of them does Riker, one of them does exocomp. And also, when you're actually into combat, you have Red Squad that before you get to act, you've got 4 evade, scan, or battle stations tokens. Plus, you could have boosted your captain skill up to 6 and have had battle stations as a free action before you move, thanks to James Kirk. And Esri makes that only needing 2 time tokens on Kirk, meaning you're going to get him back every other round rather than every 3rd round. So, this is Dougherty's ship. Again, as I say every time, there is no definite this is the ship to bring. If you wanted to bring a different ship that's much more defensive and wanted to lean more into Dougherty like that, you can do that. The Sutherland or the Enterprise D, both of which have got defensive based abilities, would work quite nicely. Bonus defense dice are always nice. Put him in something that gets more than 1 defense dice as standard, an Akira with 2, or a Sabre or the Defiant, or even on an NX or an Oberth with 3. And the more defense dice you roll, it's better. If you can throw some defensive quality, Hood Riker or Valeris or Sarvik, anyone that gives you bonus evade tokens like Valeris, or bonus conversions thanks to Riker or Sarvik, anything like that just helps him. Now, as I said, he's not amazing on his own, but when you build him up in a ship, he can be very nice. This little combo here allows you to do him every single turn with no real penalty to yourself. And he gives you +1 defense dice every time you defend. A lot of things would be this round roll +1 defense dice or +2 defense dice. But Dougherty is every time you defend, and only for a disable. If he was an action discard, then yes, he would be much harder to make work and much harder to like. There'd still be times where you might want him. If you've got a ship which has got a bunch of, really cheap cards, or cards that you can discard. So, for example, if it was a discard, you could use him to discard Tuesday. If this has a Klingon ship with Koth at the start of the game, he's no longer useful. So Koth, Gen Cisco, Romulan Spy, all of those cards which are at the start of the game do something, and then the rest of the game it doesn't do anything, just gives him fodder to discard for bonuses. But he's a disable, which means you can bring the cards back really quickly. So, thank you very much for listening to me, Scott. I hope this is kind of what you had in mind, and I've gone into sort of like why Dougherty is good and why and how you can make him good. As I said, this isn't the only way you can do Dougherty. If you particularly want to, and I'm not forcing anyone to do it, but you want to do your own Dougherty list, or your own, this is why I don't think he's very good, or this is why he's, why would you bring him when you can bring someone else? Go for it. Drop it in the comments, and I'll have a look and we can have a discussion. Always happy to do that. So, thank you very much for joining me. As always, I'm starting doing this now. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you like the video, please like the video down at the bottom. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. It just helps me out. I'm not even trying to make this channel grow so it's really big and huge. The play group of Attack Wing and isn't huge enough to make this thing, a massive thing. I would love it if this could get to normal, just other Star Trek fans who aren't fans of the game, and eventually bring them into the game. But more than that, you subscribing, you liking, you commenting just lets me know that I'm not just sitting here talking into the computer for hours and hours. Someone's listening, someone's taking it in, and someone's thinking about what I've said. And if one person comes back and says, actually, I used something that you said, or, oh, that was a good point, actually, I might use that card next time, then that's what I'm aiming for. So, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.